Hello everyone. This is a video for the Google form that is for the week of September 21 through 25 on slope or rate of change. Okay. M is slope. At its most basic form, it's rise over run. And then you also have this formula when you have 2 points. So just to review a couple things. When you have a horizontal line, and say you're going from this point to this point, your rise is 0, and your run in this case would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, 4 over 0 is worth 0. So when you guys are asked to find the slope of a horizontal line, don't leave your answer as a fraction. Tell me it's worth 0. And if you forget, type it in your calculator. It will tell you it's 0. For a vertical line, say you're going from here to here. Your rise is 2, but your run is 0. And don't leave your answer like this. Tell me that's undefined. Okay? I'm just abbreviating it at UNDF, undefined. Don't leave it as this fraction. I need to know, do you know that it's undefined? Okay? Don't say it has no slope. That's not true. No slope is different than undefined. Okay? It has one, I just can't tell you what it is because it's not defined. Okay? It's different than none. Then when you have homework where it gives you the picture of the graph, you could find points and use it, or you can just count them. So if I start here, and I'm going to go to there, I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to run 2. I wouldn't use this formula when you guys are given the graph like this. I would just count it out. Okay? Okay, find the slope. I usually draw this because I'm used to making lots of arithmetic errors. So that's just a habit I've got myself into. So 3, 5. The y's on top. Remember, it's the change in the y's over the change in the x's. So y's go on top, 3 and 5. X's go on bottom, 2 and negative 5. That's what I'm talking about. I make arithmetic errors if I don't draw that first. So that goes plus. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2 over 7. And that's your answer. Don't write it as a decimal. Leave it as negative 2/7. Okay, this one's harder because it has a decimal in it. Y is on top. It's a heck of a 7, looks like a Z. And 0.5, 4 and 2. 7, I know it doesn't look like a 7. 7 minus a half would be 6.5 over 1. Oh, I don't know why I said 1. Good Lord. See what I'm saying? Arithmetic errors? 2. You can't leave it like this. That's it's a compound fraction. It's a fraction within fractions. What you have to do is make this an improper fraction. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So it's 13 halves over 2. Now I'm going to write this differently. I'm going to go 13 halves, and you have to do this step, is being divided by a half, or 13 halves, it's being divided by 2. I got ahead of myself. 13 halves is being divided by 2. So that's 13 halves times a half. Dividing is multiplying by the reciprocal. And now you multiply straight across. So your answer is 13/4. Don't write that as a mixed fraction. Nope. Leave it as an improper fraction. It has to be reduced, but don't write it as mixed. If this was the other way around, if your x's and y's were switched, so I'm going to jump right to here, over 6.5. So that would be 2 over 13 halves equals, the 2 stays put, then you're dividing by 13 halves. So that's 2 times 2 over 13. If it helps you to see this over 1, you just are multiplying straight across. So your answer would be 4/13. Okay? Hold the first one still. Take the reciprocal of the second one. All right? Okay, here, it says find the rate of change. In other words, find the slope. That's the wording that happens in the Google form. Find the rate of change. Okay, you're given these type of problems. You should have seen this in prior classes. Um, it's called slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. So this is the piece you're looking to try and find. But it has to look like this in order to read the slope out. In other words, you have to solve for 1y equals. So y equals this. So I need to solve for y. So I have to start by subtracting the 15x from both sides. So I have 40y is equal to negative 15x plus 100. Now I need to divide both sides by 40 because I need to get rid of that 40, and I have to divide everybody by 40. So this cancels out. Y is equal to, now there's a 5 that's going to reduce here. 5 goes into negative 15, negative 3 times, into 40, 8 times, x plus, and this you're not really interested in. I can reduce it. The 0 cancels out. A 2 is going to reduce, so I have 5 halves. But this isn't what you're looking for. This is your b. I don't want the b. I want the slope, which is your m. This is the piece that I'm looking for, right here. And it does not contain the x. The slope is negative 3/8. It does not contain the x. It's the coefficient on the x. So don't say the slope is negative 3/8 x. Nope, 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 nope. It's negative 3/8. Okay? Looking at one like this, I'm going to start by subtracting the 8. So I have 14x minus 6y is equal to 10. Now it looks just like this one did, so I'm going to subtract the 14x from both sides. So I have negative 6y, the negative is still there, it stays with the 6, equals negative 14x plus 10, if I can squeeze it in there. Now I need to divide everybody by negative 6. So I have y equals, these two negatives make a positive, and the 14 and 6 reduce. There's a 2 that's going to cancel in both of those. 2 goes in there 7 times, and goes in there 3 times. So I have 7, sorry my 7 looks like a z, 7/3 x minus 5/3. And the coefficient on the x is your slope. So your slope, your answer would be 7, sorry that looks like a z, thirds. Let me try it again. My 7s are poor today. Oh, I did it again. How about I do this? 7/3. Sorry, my 7s are getting into z's today. Okay. Find the value of r so the line that passes through the pair of points has the given slope. Okay, you're looking to find out, in other words, what in this case the y value is in order to generate the slope. So you use this definition of slope, and I'm going to write the one over the other just because it helps me organize it a little better. The y's go on top, 8r, and the x's go on bottom, negative 2, negative 6. Oops, I don't know why I do that. There we go. These two become positive, so this simplifies to 8 minus r is not equals over 4. And that's worth negative 4, so it equals negative 4. I'm going to put this over 1 to help you see it. Now I'm going to jump over to this page over here. If I gave you 2/3 is equal to 5 over x, and I asked you to solve it, 1 fraction equals 1 fraction. That's when you cross multiply. So I have 2 times x is 2x, 3 times 5 is 15, and the equal sign is still there. Then you would divide by 2. This is called a proportion. So your answer is 15 halves, or 7.5. So here, I'm going to use that same idea. I'm going to cross multiply. 1 times 8 minus r is 8 minus r, equals 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Now I have to solve it. Subtract the 8, and the negative sign is still with the r, equals negative 24. And I want to solve for r, and that's a negative 1 that's held by multiplication, so I'm going to divide it out. So when you're done, you get r is equal to 24. Okay? That's your final answer. showing you it again. This time the R was a Y. This time the R is an X. So I'm just going to organize it by putting the one below the other, just because it helps me line things up. I'm going to draw this. Y is on the top. X is on the bottom. Simplify either the top or the bottom. So 3 minus 6 is negative 3 over 2 minus R. And that's worth 2/3. Cross multiply. Doesn't matter the direction you go first. I'm going to go this way first. Negative 9 equals 2 times all of this. So that's 4 minus 2R. Subtract the 4. That's a 4, not a 9. 4. Ugh, I just made it worse. Let me erase it. Minus 4. So that's negative 13 is equal to negative 2R. To finish, I have to divide by a negative 2. So this is gone. This becomes positive. And I would suggest just leave it as 13 halves. It's not wrong if you write, 6 1/2. I was going to write 7 1/2. Okay? I would just leave it here. Hit the easy button. There's no reason why you have to write it as a decimal. Okay? One last thing to tell you. Say you had, I don't know, x minus 3, or let's use r like it was. R minus 3 over 4 is equal to a negative 5/6. Where do you put the negative? Well, negative 5/6 is either negative 5 over 6 or 5 over negative 6. It is not negative 5 over negative 6, because that would become positive to give you 5/6. When the negative is sitting in front like that, either put it up or put it down. It's not going to matter. Okay? So like back here, if that was negative 2/3, your choice. Either put the negative up or put it down. Just don't put it both places. Okay? I think that's all I need to share with you. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.